good friend of mine, our state senator, Senator Jeff Irwin. He is no stranger to this community, been fighting for us a long time in Lansing. Very happy to always have him in our corner, our state senator, Jeff Irwin.
All right, thank you, Leah. Thank you, Hash Bash 2024. Is this a beautiful day in Ann Arbor or what? Absolutely. It's a beautiful day to celebrate what we've done here in Michigan, where we have the best cannabis reform law in the entire country. Michigan is doing it right, and we need you to stay engaged so we can keep doing it better and better. It's a beautiful day. We have a beautiful cannabis legalization law here in Michigan, and I'm always honored to be with you here on Hash Bash to do a couple of things. One, to welcome you to this beautiful city. Ann Arbor, here on the University of Michigan campus, has been the epicenter of cannabis activism here in America for over 40 years. All right, yes, and thank you for being here again to celebrate our path to progress, to celebrate the great law we have, to celebrate the idea that nobody should be put in jail for using a plant like cannabis. All right, so thank you for being with us here today. Thank you for celebrating the great weather. Thank you for celebrating the cannabis plant. And the second thing I'm here to do is to remind you of your responsibilities to each other, to this movement, and to cannabis. What I want to ask you to do is I want to ask you to get active politically. I want you to vote, right? I want you to vote this fall. And this fall, when Michigan becomes the epicenter of a national political campaign, I want you to raise your voices and ask every one of those politicians, what do you think about cannabis? Do you think people should be put in jail for using cannabis? No, there's one right answer. And these politicians are only going to get to the right answer if you ask them. When these federal candidates come through, I want you to ask them, what are we going to do about descheduling cannabis at the federal level? Let's make sure that Michigan leads the way so that nobody has to go to jail for using cannabis. So when these national politicians and when these local and state politicians come and ask you for your vote, are you going to ask them what they think about cannabis laws?
Yeah.
All right, and I want you to take it a step further. I'm here today as a state senator here in the 15th district, dressed up like a state senator because I want you to know that there are people like you walking around in your town every day that you need to build a relationship with. You need to know your city council people. You need to know your sheriff and your prosecutor. You need to know who your mayor is. You need to ask them questions when they're running for office like, do you think that we should be allowed to have cannabis stores in our city just like we have liquor stores, just like we have coffee shops, just like we have grocery stores? If you're not asking them those questions, then they're not going to get to the right answer. So I want to ask you to build that relationship. It starts with voting, but you need to raise your voice and get to know these politicians. We work for you. We work for you. Your elected officials are answerable to you. And this year in November and in August in the primaries, you have a unique opportunity to take what you care about, to take what brought you out here today to celebrate cannabis and cannabis legalization, and to take that to these elected officials, and to make sure that they answer the question, do you support cannabis legalization? Do you think that we should allow cannabis trade in our community? Do you think anyone should go to jail for using a plant? So I want to thank you for doing that work. I want to thank you for being here in this beautiful city to join in this long-running protest that now has turned into a celebration of the great laws that we have here today. And I also want to ask you to take the next step and help some of us who are trying to end this war on drugs completely. The war on drugs is a war against our people. People need support. People need community. They don't need more badges and guns and handcuffs. So let's work together. Let's make sure we continue to celebrate and protect this law, protect home grow, protect against some of the attacks in Lansing to raise your taxes, make sure that we stand up for local access, and then together, let's take the next step. Let's make sure we legalize entheogens. Let's make sure we criminalize drugs and make sure that this horrible war, this war on drugs against our people is ended. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for all the activism that you've done. Thanks for being here in this beautiful town. Make sure you tip your bartender and your waiter and enjoy this great town. We're happy to have you. Thank you.